What? Now we're live.
What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy, Almighty the Great here, aka Dudley Hyuga, with my boy Beeman at 9, and the unapologetic atheist, man. We already made an intro, but this nigga did not fucking gave us no
Bro,
signs.
why you said the
But
unapologetic
anyways,
atheist
man.
like there's a apologetic atheist out there? The
But anyways, man, what
unapologetic
you guys
atheist.
gotta say? Because might as well pass it to the unapologetic atheist, because he seems like he got something to say to the people,
Bro,
man.
I have
What
nothing
you
to
gotta
say to
say,
the
man?
people. I just find it funny how you just pronouncing the very un in my name. It's the unapologetic atheist, not the unapologetic atheist. Chill. Nah, man, you know it, man. We just here living another day. Bro, the fact that we're alive is crazy, bro, because what we're here to talk about today is a very heavy topic. It is not for the faint of heart. If you are somebody who is easily triggered or doesn't like discussions of violence, this is not the episode for you. But before we get into that, let's hear what B Midnight has to say for himself.
Stop being a bitch. This is the real world. Stop being sensitive. This is real shit, bitch.
All right, so shit. So today, as we're recording, is when today's Sunday, May 15th. I currently live in Rochester, New York.
What's the address?
Funny. The Midnight
What city
here,
you live in?
he lives in Buffalo,
What's
right?
your zip code?
And we used to live together in Buffalo, but I left last August. I moved to Rochester for work and everything. And yesterday, I'm at work and I'm helping a customer and I turn the TV on and these old people love the CNN and what's blasted on CNN? 10 people killed in Buffalo supermarket. I was like, what? First thing I did right away, I called Brian. I was like, I had to like, bro, it's a fucking supermarket like in Buffalo. So I had to make sure I check on that nigga. But 10 people were killed, 14 were injured. And
13.
13 were injured. Doesn't matter. One is too much. And bro, so we want to talk about that, give our opinions on this, because like this is something that's been increasing a lot these recent years. You know, first it was the school shootings, then now they're taking it more public places. Now they just wilding
Train
like,
stations.
What's more public than a public school, bro?
what's more public than the public school, a public square? Like we have more people at the shopping markets.
I would have said,
Imagine a
oh,
mall.
hold on. Let me tag myself in this. So I've been doing some not full research, but some good amount of research and what I've been, reading. So this 19-year-old kid,
18.
18-year-old kid, oh my God, drove 200 miles to Buffalo, New York, with an AR sitting in the passenger seat, live
Riding
streaming
shotgun.
himself, riding shotgun, pulls up to a parking lot, again, live streaming on Twitch. The gun says the NER at the end. First thing he does when that door unlocks is aiming at a girl and pops her right in the head. And then I'm looking at one of the CNN, I think it was a CNN, I forgot what news report website it was. They said that he had not the option, it wasn't the exact wording, but he had the option to even have a trial and vote not and say not guilty. After the proof of catching him in notebooks manifesting whatever was going to go on, the gun, the live stream, the wording on
Dupe.
everything, and the fact that there was an option to say not plead not guilty, and then on that reporting says if he does plead guilty, he's facing life in prison with no parole. If was the word. It's like, bro, if the roles were reversed, if that was if that man even looked
Let's not even
Latino,
play. Let's not
he
even
would have
get.
gone
Listen,
down.
listen. We'll get into that. I don't want to get into that right
Oh, I'm
off
getting into
yet,
that. That's not the
because
point of this, bro.
I have a.
My issue is if this man was a whole nother complexion, he was not being put in handcuffs. George Floyd, whatever his
I
name, I
have.
think his name was George Floyd. This man was choked to death. All these other people, and they did not have no weapons on them. This man had a
Well,
whole
I have a question.
AR, bro.
Hold on, real quick. So, alright, then fuck it. I wanted to say this later for the episode, but fuck it, since we're already here. So, I was speaking to somebody, and I told them that I sent them the picture of like him being arrested fully with not a scratch on him, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, imagine if there was black. They said the reason why the cops is out here killing black people is because we're resisting. They was like, do you see him resisting? I'm like, oh, because he's not resisting, he's allowed to continue living after what he just did. But somebody who's resisting after they're selling loose cigarettes deserves to lose his life, right? because
That's
he's
crazy.
resisting authority, right? And like, what the fuck is an authority? Because he's a cop, somebody gave him a gun and a badge. That means everything he says and does, he's automatically right. Doesn't matter if he's in the fucking wrong, right? The cops that were on top of George Floyd, they were authority. What was he doing that he was not respecting these authorities? Right? These cops don't care about your respect. They see black, they don't like black, right? They treat black lives like they don't matter. That's why niggas is in the street chanting Black Lives Matter, because y'all niggas act like black lives don't matter. And like, to your point, if he like, and people's gonna bring up the fucking Brooklyn shooter, because he was a older black guy that didn't get killed right away. The I'm gonna say like the difference is like, this nigga, like, he had, nobody knew who he was at the time. He had already disappeared into the wind, and then he gave himself up. This guy, I found him with the weapon, bro. This pissed me off because remember a couple years ago in Charleston, when this guy, he walks into church, bro. He sits down with these people, he prays with them, and then he lights them up, and then he walks out. Cops,
Jeez.
bro, they put him in handcuffs. Go give this nigga some cheese, bro. It's crazy, bro. The Sandy Hook shooter still alive. If there's no way that we have this mass epidemic of these people killing people, and they realize, even if I have the option to kill myself or just turn myself in. What's really like? Because they're not,
Either,
bro. Half of these,
no.
no, they either kill themselves or we bring them out alive. You never hear the cops shooting these niggas, bro. There's a lot of cops. If it was a black person, bro, as soon as he heard a shot, that nigga would have been on the ground. They don't care. They would have found some excuse to
Yo, our
legitimately.
security guard probably would have
He
shot
got a
the nigga
gun.
if he was black, bro. That's how tragic it is. That's my whole point. I don't mean to disrespect saying I don't care about murder. People do die. Shout out to the family. Hope everyone's well. But if you don't understand where I'm coming from, if you're not black, and I'm being genuine when I say this, because no one understands. When you look at the news report, every time this shit is reported, shooting, black people kill each other. That's a known fact. Black people kill each other.
Yeah.
They don't just wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna just go into a supermarket and just air this bitch out. Kill each other for some reason. I don't know why. I
It's
ain't digging
different.
into that.
I,
But look, murder is murder. Murder is murder. I don't really care what color it is. But I'm just saying, when it comes to the law being involved between black and white and a gun involved, the way they handle the situation is always different. Like, if he just shot one person and he was black, he was going 6 feet under. No hesitation. There was no handcuff that was going to be pulled out. Gun is drawn, shots fired. More from the cop,
Cause
probably from the
another
shooting.
thing, I didn't confirm this myself, but I heard that when he came out, he put the gun to his neck, and rather than doing something, they started negotiating with him. Be like, no, we don't want to do that. Yeah, I haven't confirmed. Y'all could look at. I haven't, but like he apparently, because that's how they got him
Bro,
out.
that is
He had the gun to his
crazy.
neck. He said, "I'm gonna kill myself." Because at this point, bro, they have the power. Like, cause if he kills himself, who are we gonna like? Who is everybody gonna be mad at? Like, bro, like it's insane, bro.
What do you
It's
be mad at? What does that mean?
no, because everybody wants to, now that he's still alive. Now they're gonna be like, oh, what was his reasoning? Because remember, he has a manifesto. Or is he gonna is he a lone wolf? Like, did he do this by himself, or is he like a part of a whole plot to do this? They do it like, if he had killed himself, they would have been like, oh, he would what's his name? The Nevada shooter, the old man that was in the hotel room that killed all those people at the concert. He killed himself, right? So no, they couldn't arrest him now. And then for months they speculated, oh, what was wrong? Was he mentally deranged, or what was going on? They had no answer, so they were trying to find something to blame. But with him, at least he's alive. So now we get to question him, interview him. And when you said, Brian,
Nigga.
the whole the thing you said about how he gets to plead, when I saw that, I was baffled. I'm like, what kind of defense are you gonna come up with? Because in this country we have this thing called due process. So that means everybody has a fair right to trial, even though you literally,
Nigga, live stream it, bro.
like, that's the thing.
With
Like,
video
if
evidence.
because like they're saying the reason he did this is for like they believe that white people are being replaced or like depopulated. Like, so
That's a reason to fucking kill black people?
no, so that's the thing. So I want to go through the logic of his plan, because I was told, like, I truly believe now, everybody is built different. Not there's a reason why some people will murder. Not everybody is capable of murder. Not everybody is capable of certain things, right? Because they say like everybody is exposed to the same thing, to the same like media. So how come they don't go out there killing people? Because when they say like it's the right wing people making them go out there and want to kill people. There's hundreds of thousands of people that listen to this, but how come they don't go out there? You got to understand, bro. If you have hundreds and thousands of people listening to your message, constantly telling them that you are being replaced, and that the Mexicans, the blacks, the gays, they're here to overtake you, right? You're gonna, out of those numbers, it's by probability of alone, you're gonna have at least one person out of that 100,000 who's gonna be built in a way where they take your message and interpret it in such a way where they think the only way for me to solve this problem is to get rid of the opposition, right? Not realizing them trying to get rid of the opposition is not helping them, right? It's like the niggas who stormed the Capitol during January 6th, right? Their plan, right, is we're gonna storm the Capitol and we're gonna get this shit overturned. But they didn't go beyond that, because you have to be incredibly stupid, right? I'm sorry to say this, but you got to be incredibly stupid to try to do some shit like murder a bunch of people to try to get to advance your fucking plot. That's not gonna get shit done, bro. You're only hindering yourself. So when you're out there preaching a bunch of, lies to a bunch of stupid people, which unfortunately that's who these people are. They're fucking stupid. You're stupid to wake up, to drive, to have bro. I've driven to Buffalo. I've driven 200 miles to drive for 200 miles, right, with such anger in your heart, to go and
that
go
nigga
kill
held
black,
on to that shit,
bro. That's a lot. That's a lot of like fucked up shit in you, bro. You're not.
I don't.
That's
I
not
don't
a
think he
normal.
was angry. I don't think he was angry
He's
because
fucked up.
where he's coming from. I think he came from Bimington, New York, or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
I think he. No, they said like closer to PA. So
but
like
yeah, I
Orange
think
south.
County.
they
He said
also
Orange
state,
County.
yeah,
I
But
don't.
no, no, no. Here's what I'm saying. Like that was a very specific. Jefferson Street is you have to type in that
You
address.
gotta. He Googled. They was like he was searching for fucking black neighborhoods. That it's intended because he had like when they're preaching the message of we are being replaced, right? There's 300 million people in this fucking country, right? Out of 300 million people, even if 1% of those fucking people believe you and they have the means to go do something about it, and they're dumb enough to actually think this is the best way to go about it, they're going to do it, bro, because it's just human nature. It's the law of probability, bro. If you're spewing hate and anger, somebody's gonna believe that he's young. He's like, most likely he was on these fucking YouTube pages. I'm not these fucking online chats where they was just reaffirming his shit. That's why he has a 180-page manifesto, bro. Because this nigga, like,
crazy.
he was groomed for this. The way he's built, like, he interprets their message. I don't want to be replaced. I'm gonna save my race, and the way to save my race is to get rid of the opposition.
So there's 3 million black people, 3 million some change in New York. So you're telling me he decided to wake up one day, take out 10 to reduce the, and mind you, black people are
That's
17%
the
of
thing.
New
Like,
York.
he didn't go. He said 10. Like, he went in there to try to get as much as possible. Because like, that's the thing about, bro. You don't understand. The thing about people who commits murder, because like you gotta understand, to take your life is not some fucking normal. It's not normal, bro. Something has to happen in your brain's chemistry for you to be at the point to be willing to take a life, bro. Because that shit is a lot, bro. You're ending somebody's fucking existence, right? So for him, to be like that, it's a lot of fucking the he skips a lot of steps. They don't think properly. You don't think all of this through. Why do you think all these serial killers, like, they're like, you catch them eventually because they're not thinking, no matter how smart they think they are, you're always gonna be caught, bro. Because there's go ahead, bro.
Not only that, bro. What you called? I think they also said that he had other fucking mass murderers, mass shooters that recently happened. Their names on his gun also. This
Yeah,
nigga got his.
because bro, and then they're gonna try to say, "Oh, this is a lone wolf." This is not no fucking lone wolf, bro. This is somebody who is. This is a trend. This is an epidemic, bro. It's
Oh man.
young white men who go out their way to protect them, the white race, because they feel like they're all being overtaken by minorities, and the government isn't there to help them, so they got to protect themselves.
Here's the thing, bro.
Nigga took that Thanos snap to a
Here's
different
the
level.
thing that truly is just still baffling. This photo right here, bro.
Are you sharing it?
Yeah, I'm sure you can't see it.
Hold on, I'm about to watch your stream.
Is this photo? Forget the video. At this
Hold on,
point,
wait,
the
wait,
video
hold on.
may
Why is it
show.
zoomed in?
What do you mean zoomed in? What do you mean?
Hold
What are
on.
you seeing? Hold on.
To
Let me do this instead. A screen. Where the fuck did that just go? There we go.
An 18-year-old kid.
An 18-year-old can drive 200 miles, racially motivated. Whatever the news decide to promote on this case, whatever agenda they decide to push out, this is how they handle the scenario. This is my issue. This is the
Bro,
issue
and
with
he's
this
in
with this
full
country
he's
that I'm
in
facing.
full tactical gear, bro. From the
Full
boot.
tactical.
bulletproof
I don't
vest.
want to. I don't want to hear that this kid is medically ill because the minute he spotted a person of a different color,
Yeah,
apparently
they're
his
gonna.
senses came back to normal. It's like, oh my bad, sorry. He clearly knows man. He knows what he's doing. Guy is very conscious of what's going on right now. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, they're gonna
I don't.
try to plead he's insane, bro. They're gonna try
I
to
don't
say
want to
he's
hear that.
insane. They're gonna try to
I don't want
because
to hear that.
that's
Nigga,
the
he
thing.
was conscious.
No,
I said,
fucking,
oh,
not unconscious, bro. Fucking insane. So they're
He said
gonna.
unconscious.
I
So
said he was conscious of his actions. What are you talking about?
I mean, when you say he was conscious of his actions, the only other
And he
option
know
is
what he
to
was
be
doing.
unconscious of your actions. Okay,
Someone said unconscious. I laughed at that.
hold on.
I
So,
heard
all
Said
right,
that.
unconscious.
so
I don't
they're
know.
gonna try to plead like he was insane, like he was like brainwashed. But that's the thing, though, bro. When you are like there's people who are literally like they're wired in a way what they consume will influence what they go out there and do, bro. And if you're around a bunch of people that's repeating the same shit you believe all your whole life, bro. He's only 18, so that means what? Yeah, wait, 2022, bro. That means this nigga was born 2004.
But I'll
After
say this though,
after
if he is
9/11.
from PA, I could definitely believe it because when I was doing door to door sales, I'll never forget this. Two little girls, two little girls. So I'm doing door to door sales. I knock on this door. They look at their fucking shades. They peek. The first thing I heard them say is, "Oh my God, it's a black guy," and they started running around the house. They said, "Is he still there?" Peeked again. Oh my God, it's a black guy, and ran
Look,
one
okay, I
more
sent
time
you a
around the
picture
house.
in the Discord. Open it up real quick.
Nah, that is
Open it up in the
crazy.
stream. I want to give you some back. It's insane because like me working up, yo, it's insane, bro. So this was a picture I took when I was at a customer's house the other day. Cause I was like, this is insane, bro. We are in New York. What are you doing with a Confederate flag, bro? Like, and they're gonna tell you that the Confederate flag represents Southern pride and all that other bullshit. But I'm like, bro. And then it's on the flag. It says, come and take it." Talking about the guns. I just found it funny because I'm like, these are the people that they're raising. I'm like, I mind you, bro. I was in there. I was fucking polite as fuck. 'Cause I'm like, I ain't trying to catch no black bullet.
Yeah,
Fuck
you
that.
not trying to catch.
In a trailer park, as usual. So,
I don't
bro,
believe that's how they operate either.
I
They never operate like that. They'll never just shoot you just because you got to trigger them. You
yeah,
got to
that's
trigger them.
That nigga.
but
They didn't trigger
hold
that
on, hold on,
nigga.
hold on. The point, my whole point of this whole thing, right, was who the environment you grew up around, bro, like your belief system, because these people they really grow up like insulated, like they grow up in a close knit community. Everybody believes the same thing,
It's
so
true.
when you're fucking growing up in the mid 2000s after 9/11, so everybody's coming super patriotic, so now everything is super, oh, white people are not being oppressed now. They're coming after your they mad at the feminists because feminism is taking over the country. They're mad at everything. So, if he grows up in these small ass communities that we know is upstate, like as soon as you leave the city, bro, all these fucking small ass communities, they all like one community, they all believe the same thing inside the community. It's small ass community of like less than like fucking 1,000 to 10,000 people, where everybody knows each other and they all believe the same shit, and like they've never met anybody from outside their little circle,
Yeah, once
right?
you leave New York, you realize that neighborhood watch shit. That shit is heavily strong.
That shit is
That
real.
shit is
That
real.
shit
That
is
shit.
real.
The minute they see a car that's never been down there, they're
Bro,
on the phone calling the
the amount
calling
of
the cops.
times I've had cops pull up on me because there's like, oh, the
Yep.
neighbor said like you was. I'm like, first of all, I'm just looking for parking so I can do my job. I literally have a fucking thing on my truck that says I'm here for work. Why are you bothering me? So they, when he grows up like that, bro, like that's what they believe, and then they have these places online where they're just echo chambers, which are just like feeding each other the same retarded nonsense, right? Somebody, one of those fucking people, one, two, or three of those people are gonna start trying to like take actions into their own hands,
Oh
and
yeah.
this thing is only gonna get further because one, now we have so many guns in this fucking country. It's ridiculous. We have more guns than we have people. The amount of drugs in this country is ridiculous. Drug, bro, the drug crisis is insane, bro. So, not that, and then now we have the country is more divided than ever because everybody want to play politics and nobody know what the fuck they're doing. And we have a bunch of all these shortages with food, of gas is going up, all these inflation. So now that we have all this, not everybody is angry. Everybody is like fed up with something. So now the people who are wired differently are gonna start doing shit differently, and the people who like the ones that feel. I've heard this quote, right? Because like white people, they feel like oh, we're getting oppressed. They're coming after us, right? You know why they feel like that? It's because when you've been in power for so long, equality feels like oppression, right? Because when you've been up here and everybody's been up here and everybody's just now starting to be on the same level, right? You no longer feel you have that much like fucking. So now you feel like you're being oppressed because everybody's on the same level as you. You're not being oppressed, bro. Everybody's just fucking matching you.
Hold on, wait, time out, because what playing field is being leveled with the white people?
We're
What?
trying to, but they feel like they're being oppressed. Right, that's the whole thing. They're talking about like right replacement. That's why he broke because they think like they will not replace us. They thinking like black people is here to replace them. They what you call it, the whole they have all these fucking crazy ass conspiracy theories about how they're gonna replace through the like birth, like the government is trying to slow down the man and all it. They hate Democrat, bro. It's a lot of hatred that they have at for some reason because they believe in their heads that just because they don't have the same amount of they can't do the same things that they could do 50 years ago, right? When they could just walk around and yell nigger all the time, and now they're being held accountable for it. They're like, I'm being oppressed. That's what everybody says. They're being canceled nowadays, right? Because you're being held accountable. Everybody used to have just free reign to be able to say whatever the fuck they wanted without no accountability and do whatever the fuck they wanted. Now that they're being held accountable, they're feeling like, oh, I'm being oppressed. It's like all these men. They're like, oh, I can't even be in a room with a woman now because they're gonna. I'm like, bro, it's not that hard not to rape, bro. I've done it my whole life.
You raped your whole life, or you what?
I've not raped my whole life. It's not that hard not to rape, bro. It's really
Oh,
easy.
Uh,
You just
I
don't
mean,
rape. But I can't be in a
you have
woman.
to
It's not
push
that.
a woman against the
but
wall, do all that shit to successfully rape. I mean,
but
I
at
see
the
where you're
same
going.
time, though, you don't have to rape a woman for you to be falsely accused of rape. You know that, right?
Huh?
What?
You know you could get falsely accused of what you call of raping a woman even though you didn't do it, right? You know
Hold
that.
on. Pause. Real
You didn't
quick.
do anything.
Where are you going with this
You can
one?
hold on. I know, but I still gotta hold on. But Dudley, you can only get falsely accused of something you didn't do. You can't get falsely accused of doing something you did. You realize that, right?
Nigga, you know what I meant.
Okay. And how did we get to this fucking topic? Like, how?
Because you say you don't have to, as you call men are afraid of being in a room with women because they could call something about rape. I think that's what you said. I'm saying maybe there's
It
maybe
wasn't that I said that in relation to about how people are talking about how the power struggles have like they're being oppressed and being canceled, and
Hold on,
because
wait.
of,
Let me say something. Because I don't know. Well, so here's a solution I thought of. You know, as a community that we are,
yeah,
as
take that off real quick.
we'll take what off my hat.
No, bro, I'm tired of looking at that dumb shit. That
Send
fucking
it.
flag.
Anything else?
Wait,
I
go
don't really
back
want
to
to see this
the
guy. I
video.
don't
The
wanna,
video. Yeah. We
So I'm
never we
thinking
never
of
even
so
watched the
here's
video.
what
That's
I'm
insane.
yeah, fuck the video. The video don't mean shit. It's gonna talk about everything about it's not even gonna talk about anything. It's just gonna talk about this fucking kid, his life summary or whatever. I'm thinking as a community, we officially just start taking control. It's one thing about the black community, and I'm pretty sure more people can agree, is that they are so divided. I haven't really met a group of black just all in one notion motion. I've truly personally have never seen. It seems like everyone's against each other in this community, and I just never understand why. It's like we all have the same goal. Literally, if you talk to a group of random black people, they all have the same exact goal. But yet every time we start working towards the goals like where I'm trying to knock you down so I can get there before you or X, Y, and Z before this person. And then you look at other communities and they're fucking building on the same block. They're fucking having meetings together, X, Y, and Z, getting to the next stone together. And I'm just trying to figure out why can't we do the same thing?
Okay.
Like forget the outside. Let's forget about what's going on in the shooting X,
Yeah,
Y, and Z. Why
I
can't we
want
build
to.
our own
I want
banks, our
to.
own gyms, our own restaurants, or all in one block? Why can't we own a
Okay.
whole fucking state just full of? Go ahead, you're eager right now.
Yeah, because there's two ways I want to answer this. I have two ways I want to take.
Give me
Okay.
the racist way first.
The racist way first. Okay. The reason. I want to break this down. I like using analogies. It's snowfall, right? When they started making the crack and everything and selling it, and like Franklin, they had rather
Using the show right now.
huh.
Say using the show.
Yeah, I want to, cause like like that show, like, but it has some relations to real life, right? So like when they started like growing and shit, rather than like keeping it together and like building up, like help. There was a gang that they damn, it was in the early seasons, right? That they had an option to like work with them rather than work with them and try to like make the most money as possible, right?
Spanish, right?
Yeah. They would rather go to war with them and the cops, right? So I was thinking, I'm like, when I was watching that show, I was really realizing, I'm like, a lot of these gangs, they could get a lot further than if they would stop fighting each other and started focusing on the real enemy, which were the police, right? So all these gangs, like, they fight each other. Like if you make a gang where they come together rather than with all this infighting where they create this new source of thing like crack, right? We added crack to the ecosystem. Everybody wants crack, right? Rather than making money together and like expanding to like you control this part, you control this part. Rather fight, just try to control this little ass Los Angeles, right? Rather than work together to make get crack everywhere, but rather fight amongst each other to keep crack here. That's like when black I never understood that about our people, right? Rather than work together to make something happen, right, and focus on the real enemy, or rather fight amongst ourselves and and bicker a bunch of against a bunch of little shit than truly focusing on the real enemy that's really holding us back, which is the United States government and white people, which is going to bring me to my second answer. The reason why we as black people don't have our own banks and don't have our own stuff like you said on neighborhoods is because we've tried, and a lot of times the US government has held us back. It's as simple as that, bro. Like, America is racist. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
The U.S. like from redlining to 40 acres and a mule. So after the Civil War, right? After they freed the slaves and shit, they started So they started giving like the free slaves like some land, and that used to belong to Confederate held stuff. So like they gave them to them,
Yeah.
and then I don't remember what state exactly they were in. It was somewhere in the South. They started thriving. They had a black community with like black schools, black banks.
Black Wall Street, yeah.
They started thriving, right? What happens?
Boom.
So no, the what happened? The reason they was able to flourish is because after the Civil War, the president sent federal troops down to the South to make sure that the black people had their rights they were able to keep their rights, right? And what happened after that? The next president came in and we moved the troops. He said, "Fuck that, you guys can handle it on your own." And right after that shit happened, what came into the fucking play? The KKK. The KKK starts coming. They start lynching motherfuckers. They start getting rid of motherfuckers. And then that whole little town that we had, it went to shit because literally every time black people try to make some sort of advancement, there has been a literal law to prevent us from advancing. It's literally every time we want to get better, the politicians, they are the reasons why we're held back. They literally write these things down, be like, nope, you're black, you can't do this. Racism was fucking legal, bro. Remember, segregation was literally legal, bro. Like, you could legally segregate between a black and white person until recently, bro. It's not like the reason why we've just started like building black people, right? We just started getting some sort of on the foot, but then we fight amongst each other.
So you're saying that there were laws against black people thriving. This was
it's
after
not,
Black Wall Street or before
This is after Black Wall. They're not. The laws don't specifically say against black people, but they're written in certain ways that affect majority black people. Like, so, look up redlining. Redlining is when. So they redline. It's not laws. They're not laws. Just hold on, look up the Wikipedia. Go, click on the Wikipedia thing, nigga.
Wikipedia.
Right there, redlining. So scroll up to the beginning. It just it's a
United States redlining is a discriminatory practice in which services, finance, and otherwise are withheld within potential customers who reside in neighborhoods classified as hazardous to investments. These neighborhoods have significant numbers of racial and ethnic minorities and low-income residents, while the most well-known example involved denial of credit and insurance, denial of health insurance, health care, and the development of food deserts in the minority
neighborhoods.
All type of wrong. Yeah, I read that.
Okay, so basically, redlining is like how they would. So, like, let's say they would restructure a district, to show. Okay, so literally go back to Google and look like a redlining map. Like, let me see if they go on images. Yeah, right there. Click that. Click one of the images. Yeah, right there. That one.
Hold on.
The second one. So let's. Okay, so rather than leave it be, bro. Just leave the picture be. Just leave the
bigger, bro. Or can I make it bigger?
I'm gonna explain it real quick. Just
yeah, you can
zoom in.
Yeah.
All right. So, right. So rather than drawing, you see, so let's say this is a map of a city, right? Rather than dividing it like, let's say straight like horizontally and diagonally, right? What they're gonna do is they're gonna draw specific districts. Like, they're gonna go around to make sure, like, they only encapsulate certain districts to label them as good and certain districts to label them as bad. So right now you see how C2 has some of A2 in it. So they classify those as like different fucking areas. So those are different like neighborhoods. Those are different zip codes. So they get different tax break. They get different amount of money. They get different insurance. They get different stuff. The people who live in there, because they're not classified as they're not classified the same. So like in this way, so homes built in A2 will not have the same value as home built in C2, even though they're right next to each other, because they deliberately drew it like this so that way the minorities, they're not able to build wealth as the same way as the majority, right? So another sort of the best way to build wealth in this country is through real estate, right? What happens when a grandfather passes away? He passes his land and everything to his son, and his son passes it on to his son, right? We as black people have not been in that same position to be able to do that, because we have not been able to own land as long as they have. Because when we go to these other states where you see, oh, how long have you been, like, it's been in the family for generations and generations and generations, and then you start to think about, while your father was while your great grandfather was living here, this guy's great great grandfather was a slave here. So it's not like they were ever on equal footing to begin with. Is this man? Is this Brooklyn? Yeah, that looks like
So
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. So do you see the way they structure each of the neighborhoods?
So I'm looking at where is this again? This is Red Hook or some shit like that.
No, that's no red. Is that red? No, no, no. Red Hook would be. No, that you're looking more like Bay Ridge. That's more Bay Ridge.
Bay Ridge. So this is the Bay Ridge area. So explain. So I'm looking at this right here. I'm trying to read this. This
I can't
understand
even
this
see
legend.
that.
This is first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. So it sounds like the yellow and pink is where this is the zones that are truly just horrible. Like there's just we're not labeling as the zones as this is where the money is going to be flowing. This is pretty much as it's qualified as the hood,
The ghetto.
right? And A and B is pretty much okay. Tier one, tier two. This is where the houses appreciate. This is where the money is flowing. B2, money is flowing. This is where the most you'll get the most value bang for your buck. This is where you get the advantages from. That's basically what I'm understanding. What is these two?
I
These two
can't. I
colors.
can't see what they are. What does it say?
Big gray.
I'm trying to. The last one says industrial and commercial. The second one, I don't know. I know the
I'm
second one says
guessing
federal.
probably post
The
office or some
quality is
shit.
not gonna be good on my screen. I can't see it. It's only 720p, so it's not gonna.
I'm guessing post office and factories, to be honest.
I'm gonna put that in the put that right there so you can see that industrial separ. I don't know separs. I gotta type that in. SPARSELY.
Sparley settled.
That's what it says. Sparley settled. I gotta see what that means. Definition. What's the definition of not dense from scattered? Okay. Small amount, only with a small number or amount of
Oh,
people.
so it's
Or
probably
team.
like a place where there's not a lot of people. I get it. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's not big enough to be classified as a zone.
So areas like this. Okay, and this is from 19 God knows what. So this is 1938. They have updated this ever since. Probably not.
But
But continue,
the
continue.
whole point of that, right? So the reason why black people are not in the, we're not in the position that they are is because we've literally been held back by them. The same institutions that are supposed to protect us have been used to oppress us, right? So black people are the real ones going through oppression, but white people, because black people are now realizing these things, we're learning about these things, so we're making changes to it. Do you know actually this is what critical race theory is? The learning about all, but that's what they don't want kids to learn about in school, by the way. They don't want you to learn that the reason why black people are in the position that they are is because of our fucking government. So when we learn about these things, we can make changes to these things. So when we're making these changes, and they think, right, because it's all an illusion. Power, money, all of that is an illusion. So they're losing they're losing their illusion of power, of stature, and because black people who they've always seen as less than them is not being viewed as equal to them. So now they feel like their value has be lowered. So now they
Diminished.
diminished. Thank you. So now they feel oppressed. They get angry and they gotta take it out on somebody.
That's interesting. I personally never do any research or studies on this. I just know that
No,
there's
there's
a
a
huge issue in our system when it comes to black people and the same. I don't care what anyone says about this opportunity. Like we have the same opportunity. We honestly don't.
we
When you
don't.
brought up real estate, I do my research on real estate, and the top percenters in this real estate business, you will not find a single brown person in that fucking room. Majority of them are fucking white, and
Because
I always
real
want to
estate
figure out
is
why.
generational, bro. That's the thing. You gotta understand. What do you need for real estate? You need land and you need property and you need money, bro. So when this country is first settled in 1608 by the people from in Jamestown, right? They say fuck everybody else that was already here. This is ours, right? So they have the land, they have the farmlands to create. Because remember, back in the day, before the industrial, this is 1608. So this is before the industrial revolution. So that means the main export in the world is still agriculture. We're still fully agricultural. So that means farming. That means fucking breeding. That means doing all the shit you need a lot of land for. So whoever owns the most land has the most money, and whoever has the most money has the most resources, and so on and so forth, and they have the power, right? So when they settled here and started taking over the land, who did they bring to work that land? They brought indentured servants, and that those indentured servants didn't. Sometimes they got land after their time, but sometimes they didn't, right? And then after they realized, yo, we're running out of land because we keep giving it to these people after their contracts is done. What did they do? They started going for cheap, free labor. And what was the easiest place to do that? West Africa. They went to West Africa. There's multiple reasons why they went to West Africa. By the way, it's not just because they were black, because there was black people all over Africa. Why just West Africa specifically? Because there was a lot of different people, but why specifically choose black people, right? Because you ever think about that? Like, the world is huge. Why specifically go to West Africa, right? So at first, when they tried to make slaves work the fields, right, they used the natives. But the natives knew the fucking land, so they know how to escape, right? So what do you do to get somebody who doesn't know how to escape? You get them from a foreign land who doesn't know. You bring them here, and the reason they chose West Africa specifically is because they had a climate similar to the Americas, so that they were already accustomed to growing the crops. The land similar to it in West Africa is similar to the one here, so that they'll be easier to adapt to it. So they get them from West Africa. They start the triangle trade, and when they're slaves for lives. These are not slaves for a couple of years. These are slaves for life. Your children, and then they made. So, do you know how somebody's born into slavery? Do you know why that is? So, I don't remember you're gonna have to look this up for me. They passed the law in the 17 or 1800s, right? They passed the law that said the children of a slave if your mother is a slave and you are born, you are automatically a slave. So they literally built, like, they had a forever. They had an infinite amount of slaves, bro. Because a white man, even though he's free, he can have sex with a white woman, and her children will be slaves. It doesn't matter because it.
Wait, hold on. So just to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. You're saying if you were, let's say your mom was a slave, she ends up getting pregnant, you're born, she dies.
Google chattel slavery. That's the name of it.
So she dies. As
You're
soon as
automatically
because
a
you're
slave.
born, you were made consumed from her. You're a slave automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you're born,
What's
you're a
it
slave.
called again?
Chattel slavery.
That sounds like some Game of Thrones shit. Like, as long as you were blood from the king, you're the heir of the throne.
Yeah, but yeah.
It means that one person has total ownership of another.
No, is that what the hell?
Is that what you said?
No, not chattel. Cattle. Is it? Hold on.
Oh, cattle.
Yeah, cattle slavery. No, is it? Hold on.
Oh, bro.
I might be using the wrong word.
No, this one looks like it. It's the most common form of slavery known to America. This system, which allowed people considered legal properties to be bought, sold, and owned forever. It sounds like it was
Yeah,
all
that's
considered
yeah. So,
16th, 18th centuries. Yeah.
Jeez.
When was the cattle? This was formed the 17th and 19th century. Look this up. In this system is
okay, there it is. It's called Partis Secretus Vertrum. I'm gonna send that to you. It is
This is a fucking herb.
It's Latin, because these fucking racists they thought that if I say it in Latin it sounds better. I sent it to you, bro.
It sound like a spell, boy.
This one you said?
No, not even close.
That is a whole street in France.
Yeah.
That looked like
It
a
was
spell
doing the
book.
whole spell. You're buying your cameras off.
It is? Oh, my bad.
It sounded like he was doing a whole spell, bro.
Okay. What does this mean? Ah, offspring follows belly. There it is.
No, look at 19. No, click on the Wikipedia, the first one, because it.
Sorry?
Mm-hmm.
You love Wikipedia. Well, the legal doctrine passed in 1662 and other legal status of which the children born there.
You can read out loud, you know.
My bad, bro. Let me highlight this area so you can read out loud.
All right, so I'll read it. That word was a legal doctrine passed in colonial Virginia in 1962 and other English crown colonies in the Americas, which defined the legal status of children born there. The doctrine mandated that all children would inherit the legal status of their mothers. What that means, the legal status at that time is, what are you free or are you enslaved? As such, children of enslaved women would be born into slavery. The legal doctrine of, what I'm not trying to say that word again, was derived from Roman civil law, specifically the portions concerning slavery and personal property, chattels. So that's what I meant by chattel slavery. So,
Wait, so hold on, pause. How would they know? Let's say 100 years pass by. How do they know you're still under the status of slavery?
because your mother's, because you, like, let's say
black.
let's say a mother has a daughter. That daughter is a slave. Now let's say she grows up and she has a daughter. Her daughter is a slave. She grows up, she has a daughter. Her daughter is automatically a slave. You're automatically a slave as soon as you're born.
How? How do other people know this?
What do you mean? They kept records of the slaves, bro. What?
That's
Bro,
what I'm saying. Like,
they
how
was-
are they keeping the records? Where are these records being stored at? Whose document is it? Is it from the hospital? Is it
Yeah,
from?
I'm talking about, like, so like
Oh, they fucking brand you. They put a
bro,
brand on
not
you.
even brand, bro. First of all, you gotta remember, slavery was a business, bro. It was. You see how the way everything is ran like it's a business today. Think of any business back in the day, and slavery was just another business, bro. You see how you could sell and buy crypto? You could sell and buy black people, just like that. Just people were property. I know that concept is mind-boggling. That shit is, it doesn't sit right in your head. Like, how is somebody your property? How is somebody born, right? How is a child born and it's automatic, like their whole life is already determined? How?
This is all.
It's insane.
You
And
know, I'm gonna do more research on this because this is. I never knew about this shit in my life. Redlining, this word, I've never fucking heard these two in my goddamn life.
yeah, bro, there's a reason why we're in the state that we are. So, right
So,
after,
wait, hold on, let me ask you this: do you think are you a slave? And I'm not even trying to be joking.
No,
Are
no.
you? Is there any way you can find that out?
So yeah, you can like do ancestries, like not if like were you what you call it, are you children of slaves? I don't remember the words. Or were your ancestors slaves? Yeah, a lot of people have done that, especially if you was born in America and like your whole family's been like like Black Americans, right? Who was here like their whole lives, like they've had. Because if you really think about it, right, the only reason you're alive today is because your parents were able to reproduce and their parents were able to reproduce and their parents were able to reproduce. So that means somewhere, if you go back and far enough, right, somebody in your life and your what do you call that shit? In your family
Lineage?
tree, yeah, lineage, had to survive to reproduce to make somebody to make you. So so that means that somebody in your lineage was alive at the time of slavery, and we being black and I was born in Haiti, right? So all my
Yeah.
family was born in Haiti. So back we can trace our generations back hundreds and hundreds of years to the point where most likely I will find somebody in my family from West Africa. Bro, this
Not
is
only
not-
that, Haitians technically recently got their freedom 18 something, right?
1804. So
1804.
we're different. Haitians are a whole different beast, bro. Like
I ain't gonna lie though, we
bro,
got screwed out that
the
fucking freedom.
whole world, right? So you gotta understand this, right? When Haiti got its independence, so at that time there was still slavery in America. 1804, slavery in America did not end for another 60 years. Don't forget that, right? So when Haiti becomes the first slave state, right? Here's how much the world hates black people, bro. The whole world ganged up and said, "Fuck you. We have slaves. Who the fuck are you to not have? Who are you to tell us?" Because like, not only did Haiti fight for its freedom, right? It says no more slavery. So, not only that, though, the United States turned its back on us. Don't like U.S. They might be trying. Oh yeah, no. In our deepest moment when we needed them most, they pulled a fucking ang and out, right?
Nah, you mean Avatar Ozai?
I'm sorry. I clearly have never watched the show. So they left us and said, "Fuck you guys. You guys want to be free. Here's the cost of freedom," right? So France, right? The niggas who were enslaving us, they say, "Okay, y'all want to be free." Now, not on. So here's the thing that pissed me off, right? The Haitians spanked the French. They were spanking these motherfuckers, right? So now the French is like, you know what? Since you beat us in war, you can have your freedom, but you have to pay us.
Not only you
Miss
gotta
me
pay
with
us
that
because we
genjutsu, bro. You're missing me. You're missing
Wait,
me with
hold
that.
on. You said Haiti beat France. And France said you beat us, but you got to pay us.
Yes,
you gotta pay us for the fucking property that we had in your country. I'm like,
because
what?
because they said they're losing value. So the only way to get your freedom is to pay us. But mind you, they're getting spanked so bad. Napoleon sells the Louisiana to the United States because he is losing so bad, right? In 1803, Thomas Jefferson does the Louisiana Purchase because Napoleon is losing it because he needs money to fight the Haitians, right? That's how desperate they were. They literally doubled the United, because at that point the United States was only the 13 colonies. Thomas Jefferson was only the third president of the United States, right? So the United States have only, this is like what? So this is only 12 or 13 years after the U.S. is established as a country, right? Haitians, they want to go to war. So now Jefferson, he's like, oh, this is a fucking way too good of a deal to pass up, because Napoleon was selling it to next to nothing because a nigga needed bread. He is getting his ass spanked by a bunch of slaves, right? He's losing, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. You want your freedom so bad? Just pay us for it. And we said, yes, massa. And to this day,
That was the dumbest shit ever.
To this day, bro, we're still
I think
facing
we
the
probably
repercussions
recently just finished it. To be honest with you, I think we just recently finished pain.
Yeah, bro, and the Haitian the economy has never recovered.
That's why Haiti's fucking poor as fuck, bro.
And the economy. So the French, they raped I gotta stop saying that word. Our soil for all of its natural resources. Because if you look at a map of the Dominican Republic and Haiti next to it, side by side, it's two different places, bro. Because they took all of the natural resources out of Haiti, right? Now and then they ran off to France, and now they're thriving, and Haiti is a shithole because according to our former president. Look up. No, you want to look up. No. You want to look up. Not a satellite. Geographical map, I believe it would be called. Or like. No wait. Yeah.
You sure it's not satellite?
No. Click the first one real quick. Cause like I want to see like the. Yeah, no, that one. That one you have highlighted right there. Okay, you see the greenery in the DR, bro. It was okay. Do you see how green the Dominican Republic is versus Haiti?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, look, all of this whole island used to be halfway. There's nothing there, bro. There's barely any greenery, bro. The Dominican is flushed. There's nothing there, bro. So like we can't produce a lot. That's why our what are we what is the number one export in Haiti from Haiti? Do you know?
Sugar cane.
And where does sugar cane grow? Does a sugar cane grow in the desert?
Uh,
Exactly. So our economy is, and then just like the mentality has just been corrupted for like, because like they still, even though they're free, they still have a slave mentality. That's the thing. You can be free, but if your mindset is still enslaved, it
Facts.
doesn't mean anything because you still
So
waiting.
is that partially the reason why Dominicans don't like Haitians?
I can't speak to that.
I think that's a different fucking shit.
I wouldn't know. I that one I can't speak to.
I was thinking, them being neighbors, them seeing what they're doing on their side, knowing that they're so connected to each
So
other.
the thing about the Haitians and the Dominicans, because the Haitians, they were owned by the French. The Dominicans were owned by the Spanish, and the way that came to be, I don't remember. I don't remember who came to control the island first, but at first, like they had full control of the island, and then they had a war where the Spanish took the Dominican side and the French took that side, right? So ever since, so it's always been like this since the beginning of them, like, colonizing it, because you gotta remember there were people there before there were natives there, bro. They call them Native Americans, but there were people there before these Europeans came along and
Hmm.
discovered them. How do you discover somebody that's not already exists, bro?
That's a fact, bro. That's a fucking
And like I said, look, I discovered water. Okay, bro, you got it. But no, bro, the reason a lot of people, they don't realize there's a reason why, like that's why when they say, oh, they are trying or holding us back, I'm like, who is they? Because everybody be talking about, oh, there's a day. I'm like, there is a day. It's the fucking, the world,
government.
bro. It's insane, and they don't want you to learn about this
My
because
question is why black people?
why black people?
Why? Like I mean, what is it that has laws against us that makes us the slaves? Like what started this?
Like I told you, remember, like I told you in the beginning. So when they first started, so in 1608, the first settlers came from England and landed in Jamestown, right? So they realized that they can make a lot of tobacco. So they had a lot of tobacco farmers, right? So what they would do, but they wouldn't, because the nobility. What the fuck? Why the fuck would I work a farm? So what they would do is they would hire indentured servers. So they would tell you would sign a contract to work their land for about 4 to 7 years, and once you finish the work, you would get free boarding to the new land. You would get housing and everything, and once you finish your 4 to 7 years, you would get a certain amount of land, right? So as they continue doing this, they realize they're losing their profit margin is not that big. So they need another source of doing this. So that's when they start getting slaves. So who are the slaves that they start getting? The natives, the people who were already there, because the natives already knew the crops, they already knew how to do it, they already know like the weather and everything. So, but the thing about the natives, they also know the land. So you try to enslave them, they know how to escape, they know where to go, how to get the fuck up out of there. So they decided, okay, we need to get some people who not only know how the climate, but don't know the area, so they won't be able to escape. And they went to the easiest place for them, because you gotta remember, look up the Atlantic slave trade for me, the transatlantic slave trade. I need a map of it. Yeah, I need a map of it. Um, give me the green one. Nope, 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 nope. Go yep. Okay, so right, so right here, in the Americas, right. So that's where all the new land and everything is. So they decide, where's the best place for us to get people who know the climate and don't know the land? Right here in Africa. So it's the easiest way for them to get it, and then they get them straight from Africa. They can bring them. They get all the stuff and they send it back to England, and they get the stuff from England. They send it to the States. So no, it goes from. They get them from Africa, transports the slaves to from Africa to the Americas. They work them there. They make the goods. They send the goods to Britain, and then the whole cycle repeats. Then it's Britain. What do they? I think the Britons, they send stuff to go buy the slaves. So the British, they send the money that they make from selling the produce that they made in the Americas. They sell that here, and then they buy more slaves, and then send them back to the Americas.
So it's basically boom, boom.
No.
Boom.
It goes Africa to America.
Green,
There we go.
red, and blue.
Yep, and then boom. Yep. So you get your workers from Africa, you bring them to America, you make your product, you sell them in England, you use the money you make in England, you buy more slaves in Africa.
Wow.
It's not a matter of like, oh, white people are superior to black people. No, that's what they started to use to justify it. It's all about economics, bro. It just makes the most logical sense. The natives, they know the land, they can escape. Right, and you want to get somebody who knows a similar climate, because if you look at it, they're getting them from the coast of Africa, from West Africa, from the coast of there. So that means they're already used to the climate. They're already used to the diseases. They already have similar stuff. So bringing them to the Americas, they won't be as likely to try to escape, because they're in a whole new fucking world. They don't know nothing. They don't speak. They don't know nothing.
They know how to farm the land, but they don't know anything about the area where they from.
Exactly. So you have them there, and then you have them chatteled for life. And chattel slavery wasn't a thing until, because they didn't really start having chattel slavery until they invented the cotton gin. The cotton gin is what exploded slavery in America. So once they started realizing like they can have this thing that automatically spin cotton and make all these different things, they started needing more slaves. So that's why they started making it, oh yeah, if your mother's a slave, you're automatically a slave too. Yeah, bro. For all of its land of opportunity, land of equality, the American dream is a pipe dream, bro. If you really, that's why they don't want, bro. Why do you think they go so hard against critical race theory? Even though they're not teaching it in the places that they're teaching it, but because they know what critical race theory is and what it's destroying their image of a perfect America, where it's bro. Well, the more you learn about this shit, the more you get to realize about the world you live in, and the easier it is to navigate. That's why I spend all my time watching YouTube videos and learning about this shit, because it makes life, because once you know why certain things are, you're not walking in the blind, you're not a sheep, you're not just yes, I will work your 9 to 5, yes, I will go to college because you told me to. No, I will not be your modern day slave.
But yeah, since you know a lot about that, what about when black people start selling watermelon and shit, right? They were making I'm being dead ass, this nigga is laughing, but yeah. So when black people started selling watermelon, they making like a big profit margin of that shit, and then they start turning into like some racist comment, oh blah blah blah, don't buy the watermelon.
I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry. I'll look into that, but that sounds hilarious as fuck.
Yeah.
I
thought you don't buy that nigga's watermelon. That shit
I thought you was gonna go the route of the way. So we're pushing an hour. So I will tell one last thing, right? Do you know why California has one of the strictest gun laws in this country?
California
has one of the strictest gun laws in the country.
Not New York.
I'm not saying it has the most. I'm saying one of the most. I never said it has the most.
You did say the most. You didn't say one of.
Okay.
You said the most.
So later when you rewatch this video, you let me know what I said. So do you know why California has one of the most fucking stringent gun rules? It's because back in the, was it 60s, 70s? The Black Panthers were a thing, right?
Yeah.
After they was like, you know what? We have the Second Amendment that says we're allowed to arm ourselves in case, these motherfuckers is trying to wild out. So they started doing just that, arming themselves. And guess what? I think it was Reagan. Guess what they did? Passed a law against that real quick. Can't have that. Can't have black people having shit white people have. What? Yeah, bro. They passed a law. That's why every time black people try to make advancements in this country, they always pass a law. It's not gonna blatantly say this is to stop black people from doing this. They're gonna have it in some code, some way to say, yeah, you know that thing you were trying to do. Yeah, you can't do it no more. And that's what this country was built on, and that's what we got to educate. That's why we got to educate ourselves, bro. Because if we keep just taking in the bullshit that they spewing at us, and because this guy, right, to bring it back to our main thing, right, because this guy clearly didn't know any of this that we just spoke about. He clearly didn't do his research. He just sat there and believed a bunch of people telling him that white people are being discriminated against, and the most attacked person on the earth right now is the white male. That's what they believe. That the white male is under attack, so we got to protect ourselves at all costs, and the only way to do that is go kill a bunch of people. So you got to be truly moronic to do something like that, and to believe that's what's gonna solve your answer or solve your problems. And that's why I want to leave it today, guys. This was a very heavy topic, but I think we did learn a lot today, and hopefully we can learn some more in the next episode. You guys want to say anything before we log off?
We did all the talking. We did all the listening.
I am weak.
Wait, hold on. Let me share something.
What do you want me to? You want me to read it, or you want to read it?
Here from right here.
The trope came in full force when slaves won their emancipation during the Civil War. Free black people grew, ate, and sold watermelons, and in doing so made the fruit a symbol of their freedom. Southern whites, threatened by the blacks' newfound freedom, responded by making the fruit a symbol of black people's perceived uncleanliness, laziness, childishness, and unwanted public presence. The racist trope then exploded in American popular culture, becoming so pervasive that its historical origins became obscure. Few Americans in the 1900s would have guessed the stereotype was less than a half century old. Damn. So yeah, that's bro. And remember, like I told you, after the Civil War ended, the black people, we started our own communities, and we had the federal troops protecting us. And so the president who became the president after they assassinated Lincoln, he's the guy that set up, I think it's Lyndon B. Johnson. I don't remember. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But the guy that became the president, he set it up, and then the guy that became president after him started fucking everything back. Like for about 70 years, bro, they were just like, yeah, you're black, you want to do this? Nope.
It's crazy on how what we used to have is what the Jewish people have nowadays.
What do you mean?
Section by the police. Section by police. I don't know about you, but when I walk around like Jewish neighborhoods, I always see at least 2 police cars.
I mean, yeah, bro, because nowadays that's the thing, the majority of people, like the people who are the majority, are thinking like, they're oppressed. And when 60%, like when you have 300,000 people, right? 300 million people. 60% of those people are white, right? So they are majority. Now let's say 1% of that 60% believes that they are fucking oppressed and marginalized and everything. And now let's say another 1% of that 1% is radical enough to fucking do something about it. Do you not know how many bodies are gonna be in the street? You ever heard of a race war? Okay. Bro, this is what's gonna start the Civil War Part 2. Because white boys is out here just slaying people, and black people is gonna be like, you know what? I've had enough. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope we find a peaceful solution for these white boys. They need therapy. They need history lessons.
They gave that nigga therapy, bro. They let that nigga go.
Yeah, the type of therapy I'm talking about is a hot lead there's a hot fucking lead in the leg, bro. But like I said, this has been a truly fun episode. I'm glad we made another one tonight. You guys, Brian, you got anything? You already said your thing before we log off. Almighty, thank you for that last piece of tip because I did not know that. I just know that they always made fun of black people for liking watermelons. I don't know why. Watermelons are slapping. I love fried chicken. It is what it is. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications and do all other stuff. I don't know. Peace.